Freestyle in the anchor, don't write that shit. Freestyle in the anchor.
Hello.
Hey.
This is AirGo.
It is indeed.
I'm Kiss.
I'm Damon.
And what we do is reshape culture for the more liberatory and creative. How are you, Dame?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling some secondhand bubbliness.
Uh-huh.
We just had a great conversation with the one and only Rossana Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rossana is the Alderwoman of the 33rd Ward here in Chicago. She has been a longtime force for both good but also like impactful political power, which she and so many other folks have built on the Northwest Side. A kind of like vertical of socialist-leaning and undoubtedly progressive political power is like worth documenting and studying and understanding for what it's making possible in our city, but also as like a model for how people might be able to, on a grassroots level, build political power all over this country.
So one little corner of our city has elected someone to city council, to the state representatives, to the state senate, and to the House of Representatives federally, all with socialist facing politics. So we talk about that and that infrastructure of what made that possible, but really, a larger ethic of what it means to steward and govern from this passion for proactive care instead of just for individualistic power. We talk about how money is shaping Chicago City Hall, and where the big billionaires are messing up all of our, good efforts to try to make this world
and just fucking
better.
up the vibes.
Yeah, in general. We talk about the legacy and the important work of the new care response team, as well as, what it looked like on the front lines with this incursion of ICE and DHS and this federal invasion of our city. It's important for folks to learn about this IPO structure and how independent political organizations work, and also recognize, as we got a new election coming up, there's gonna be big money to oppose all of these liberatory and or left-leaning and or progressive and or socialist endeavors that are coming out of city council. So we need folks from the ground to continue to step up.
Make sure you subscribe to AirGo wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at Respair Media, where you can see all of our video episodes as well as our travel show, 1 Million Experiments in the Field. Find all of our work at respairmedia.com.
Big Substack, check us out there.
Yeah, big Substack. It's not even a sub, it's just a stack.
Yeah.
And yeah, with that, I think we're ready to hop into it. Anything else?
Nah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it with Rossana Rodriguez.
Yeah. All right, we are here. It's happening.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna bring it back in because I want you to hear me. I am so excited. This is AirGo.
I'm Kiss.
I'm Damon, and we're back doing what we do. And we have with us the one, the only, one of the most just like amazing people and spirits in the world, but definitely one of the most ferocious and passionate and dedicated elected officials that I've ever known or ever met. We got Rossana Rodriguez in the building! Rossana,
hey,
Rossana, hey.
Damn.
There you
I
go.
feel so loved.
There you go.
As you are.
Thank you.
It's amazing what a faux crowd cheering for you can do for the spirit, It really goes far.
Can you guys come to city council? Like
Just-
when
No.
Can you sit there when I come in?
You can come here.
I'll come to the rally.
Okay.
I'll be
fair,
outside.
fair.
City Council.
So we're going to start how we do. 2-part question, centered around time. We're going to go in this time. Define it however you will. This time could be this day, this season, this hour, this lifetime. In this time, how is the world treating you and how are you treating the world? Rossana Rodriguez.
I would say that the world is like my immediate world and community to me right now. And that community is unwavering in terms of what they want for society. And that includes how we treat each other. So I always feel held by them. And I am very grateful for that because this work is really hard. And I am doing everything that I can to reciprocate that with my community and with the people around me. So as terrible as things are in the world, to know that I have this little corner where I can be safe to a certain extent, I am very grateful for that.
Yeah, let's talk about that corner a little bit, that corner of the world. It happens to be like not far from, like we share some physical corners of the world. And I think like in addition to the geography of it, the political corner of the world that you've had such a like pivotal hand in helping build is really, really significant and important and not always legible to people who don't live in the city. And so,
and even to a lot of people that are in the city.
it's true. So let's start by like defining, how do you understand what your political world is and what's been happening? What is this remarkable thing that, who was it? Was it Ash who called it the Red
I think it was
Northwest?
Bettina, the Red Northwest.
The Red
Up there,
Northwest.
y'all got-
I love that. The Red Northwest.
Very like Game of Thrones.
But with pride, though.
I want a hoodie that says that now. I love that. Yeah, well, for more than a decade now, we have been building. I particularly have been in the neighborhood of Albany Park, very immigrant working class neighborhood. So for the last decade, we have been building independent political organizations in the Northwest Side. This started with the 33rd Ward Working Families Organization and the United Neighbors of the 35th Ward Organization. We were born at the same time, with the difference that the 35th Ward, they won the election in 2015, and they started their organization. We lost the election when we ran a teacher from Roosevelt High School in 2015, and we started our organization. So they have had a little bit of a different kind of development because they had somebody in office and we didn't. But for those 4 years before we ran again, we organized around immigration, education, and housing. And what we did was we just started knocking on doors. The whole secret of this is just talk to your neighbor. But how you talk to your neighbors matter, right? Like the discipline with which you go to the doors and you start conversations about specific issues and you try to win campaigns and you have something concrete to offer people in moments in which they are struggling, right? We did it with immigration during the first term of Donald Trump. We organized a lot around court support. We organized a lot around Migra Watch. With housing, we went to the doors to talk about rent control, and we put an item in a ballot and told people, would you like to have rent control? Of course, everybody wanted rent control. And same with education. We put the moratorium on charter school item on a ballot, and we went to talk to people about how charter schools take resources from neighborhood schools. And of course, we won that one too, right? We did it with treatment, not trauma. So we have continued to build on bringing issues that are fundamental to advancing a progressive agenda, and in my case, a socialist agenda for our city, and engaging people. And what has happened is that as politics at the national level continue to move right, people are looking for alternatives and how they can organize, how can they do something. So we have been building power in that way. We have done it in terms of campaigns, but we have also been doing it at the electoral level with candidates that are rooted in our political organizations, that have our vision, we have a platform, and we stick to that. And if you decide that you're not going to stick to that, then we're not going to go to the doors for you, right? And that is the difference between anybody saying, "Oh, I'm great, I'm going to run for office," and I sort of have a progressive view to, no, you belong to us. We are creating this scaffolding to make sure that we can continue to grow. You are accountable not only to these people, but to these values. And that has made a world of a difference. Like if you try to look at my history in office, you're not going to find me siding ever with like big interests, with billionaires, I don't do that. Because my IPO would be, IPO is independent political organization. My IPO would be like, well, you're out. We're not going to support you anymore, right? So that's what we have been doing. And that way, we won my election in 2019. We won Graciela's election 2 years ago. And now it was time for us to have the 40th District State Representative seat. We have been trying to work with the incumbent and try to convince him to adopt our values.
Come over to the flip side.
Yeah, he did not want to do that. And we had to take the seat. So that's our latest victory.
There you go.
It's amazing. So just to like repeat what you're just saying, you're in city council. We got Graciela in state senate. Now there's someone in the
Miguel.
state. Miguel is state representative.
Yes.
And then we have Delia Ramirez
in Congress,
in the House of Representatives. And you said it, and like I had kind of thought that there's nowhere else in the country where there's this level of like, let's call it like verticality of grassroots embedded, but then also socialist leaning elected officials anywhere else. So one that just needs to be like celebrated, appreciated. People need to like look at this little region, this little corner as a place of study, as a place for inspiration, as a place for collaboration, because this is, I mean, not even just for this time, historically significant. And I want to dig into the how a little bit more, because what I'm hearing from you is just like the basics of, you know, door knocking, advocacy around issues, and then like a grassroots unit, and like those are
a consistent platform.
And the consistent platform, but those aren't secrets. So is it just qualitative? Is it just like
it's political education too,
okay,
right?
Okay. But like, are y'all doing more door knocking than everywhere else?
It's the quality of the door knocking.
It's like a
It's the quality
it's a
of
soft
the door
knock.
knocking. Because
it's a gentle knock.
because you can put millions. I mean,
They
Graciela's
did,
raise was a $3 million raise,
Right.
and Graciela got 51% of the vote in a 4-way race.
Right.
They threw I'm going to repeat it. They threw $3 million at an incumbent that had the advantage because she was already an incumbent.
Right.
We got 51% of the vote. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the reason is that you can put as much money as you want into paying people hourly to go and knock on doors. That does not buy commitment. It does not buy values, and it does not buy a vision. The people who go to the doors for our candidates, they know why they are going to the doors for our candidates. They don't get paid to do that. They do it because they know what's at stake. They know what we have done. They know what they have built with us. And they can go to a door and they can say, when ICE came here, this is what Miguel was doing. Because I was with him.
Right.
When the homeless encampment came here, this is what these electeds were doing. When the migrant mission happened, this is what they did. And you can't pay somebody to say that.
Right.
It is really wild that on election day, some of our volunteers that were in front of polling stations started having conversations with people who were passing for the incumbent. And they decided to show them, because the people who were there didn't know who this man was.
Right. It's a gig.
It's a gig.
Right.
You get hired, they will pay you however much. I think they were paying like $250 for the day or something like that. You stand there and you just pass lit. And when our volunteers started telling some of these young people who this man was, a bunch of them just stopped passing.
Wow.
Stop passing lit.
Wow.
So when you have that kind of, and we do a lot of political education. We have a book club. We discuss, we have monthly meetings where we discuss issues and we have debate, and we are engaged with a lot of different issues that we also like go to events about. And a lot of times there's going to be problems that we have to solve together, right? So all of that builds a level of consciousness that you are not going to be able to get just because you have $3 million, $2 million. Like this election for Miguel Albelo Rivera, 2 months before the election, nobody knew who Miguel. He did not have name recognition. We polled. We knew that he did not have any name recognition, but we knew, what we knew was that when we repeated the message that we had for Miguel, after we talked to people about the message, people flipped.
Right.
So we took the message and we went to the doors and we knocked on we did 3 passes, 3 of our ward. That is door after door after door.
People's knuckles got calluses at that point,
ward,
you know?
we did it in the 32nd ward, we did it in the 30th ward. Like we were all over the district. Because a lot of times people just don't necessarily they are not completely aware of what's happening politically. There's so much happening. There's so many names and so many things.
Especially for something like a primary of a midterm. That's not, you know.
So you have to go and you have to like talk to people face to face and answer their questions and ask them about what they care about, right? And a lot of what is happening, people are really worried about what's happening right now with fascism.
Yeah.
So being able to have those conversations,
I would say, most people not cool with it. Like that's a pretty, and that's heartening
that has
in
been
some
the
ways,
experience.
you know? And it's hard to sometimes actually, because of the isolation and the fear that it creates, to actually remember that like this is, who was it who said that like we are living with a fascist government, but we are not yet living within a fascist society. We're
Shout
like
out
those,
Bill Ayers.
it was Bill who said it, right? We're like those logics are not across the board embedded as like what people accept as a given.
Right.
And so I'd imagine the like that kind of 3 times around knocking, it's not just like here's who we are, but it's also then, and we're gonna keep coming back and we're gonna keep being present.
I think that when they saw Carlos win,
Mm-hmm.
that happened in 2015.
2015, yep.
He ran as a socialist.
Mm-hmm.
They saw him win and they thought this is a one-off.
Right.
Then I won
Mm-hmm.
and I joined him and a couple more of us. And they were like, yeah, this is going to be one-term people. Like they don't know what they're doing. They're like rebels without a cause. They just came here to yell.
Yeah.
And then we ended up being way more effective than a lot of people in council.
In terms of moving power, or just like
In-
in doing your jobs,
Yes,
basically.
just
Right.
in doing our jobs.
Right.
Just in doing our jobs. And I think that they have started seeing defeat after defeat.
Mm-hmm.
This one in particular with Miguel Alvelo. I think that they're starting to get really nervous about what is being built, because after we have done all of this work, multiple neighborhoods have looked at our model and have started creating their own independent political organizations.
Yeah.
Like the 39th Ward was an independent political organization now. The 32nd Ward has a political organization now. The 26th Ward has an independent
Right.
political. So we're growing, and it's becoming scary to, big money that we can be out
building
here and we can
infrastructure.
beat them,
Yeah.
because traditionally you can't beat big
Right.
money in politics. This particular election was funded by a bunch of PACs. There was Meta, there was DraftKings,
Oh,
Yeah.
and they were
No, the especially
DraftKings
Neil's neck of the woods,
was dedicated.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I saw, to correct me if I'm wrong, but like just baseline on the signage quantity for their candidate, basically, like that was just straight DraftKings money was just getting signage.
It was insane. Like they put signs everywhere.
Is
it
it
was
clear what they're
flooded.
lobbying for right now?
not regulation on gambling.
Just general.
Yeah,
But there's not
because
like a law or
There
something.
was a
coming up?
tax that was put into betting,
Mhm,
online betting,
mhm.
and they passed it on to consumers. So betting decreased.
Okay.
And they're really angry about that, and they want to change that. So they were trying to buy seats in the house to make sure that
tax went
that
away.
was stopped and that they are not taxed, right?
Okay.
There's something just, this is true for Chicago, but I think just in general of like the like janky nature of where the money is coming from now. Like when people's like railroad magnates, you can kind of go, all right, well, they got a bunch of railroads. All right, that makes sense how they made their money. Like they did some fucked up shit. They built a bunch of, but like crypto, gambling,
Data center AI.
Mm-hmm.
as the like driving force economically. It's just like,
It's just all the fugazi.
it's some shaky
Yeah.
ground, you know, and some big boom. I kind of feel like really we have like the jankiest magnates
Yeah,
to
these
fuck up
some
our game.
terrible barons
And then,
as far as
and then
barons go.
also the Zionist PACs, right?
Yes.
Right.
Common Ground Collective, which is a PAC that was started particularly to come after me and others who have been very involved with the ceasefire resolution and speaking up about Palestinian liberation and anti-Zionism. They spend a ton of money on this race as well. One really cool thing that happened in the campaign was that when those DraftKings signs came up, the campaign created these labels with a QR code, and they put stickers on every one of those signs, saying paid for by DraftKings,
Wow.
and then a QR code so people could look at the money.
Ah,
And then we put together a website called Jamie's Money, where you could track all of Jamie Andrade's donation. And that is what we run on. We ran on a platform Miguel's platform that was created by all of us. And then the Jamie's Money, which it was just telling people like, this is where he
the
gets
money
his
comes
money.
from.
This is who he is beholden to.
yeah.
I will say there is like a funny, this is one of those weird American political, the sanctity of the lawn sign is a very funny thing. Like if you pull someone's like a candidate's lawn signs, that this is like this great affront. And so a sticker on a lawn
true.
sign, you know,
That's
is
very
like,
true.
you know, violating the norm. People get so embedded
what
about
was
their lawn
funny?
sign.
So stickers were put in a lot of these signs. And then there was people who saw the stickers and found some that did not have the stickers, and they did their own homemade stickers and put them in the signs that did not have stickers.
Plus, it's good economics. Stickers cheaper than signs.
Yeah.
You know, you already put the
Yeah,
sign.
you've given me the space.
You built the foundation for me to
That's
just.
exactly. And it was a very creative campaign too. There was a lot of artists that came to help with the campaign. We had a jingle. Like it was a lot of fun to run that campaign as well, because it was very, very community based. And the other side just can't say the same because the interests are very different, and you can feel that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to sum up what I'm hearing.
Yes.
And then go into like just some of the ways I've seen you show up over these last year or two. So just what I'm hearing, because I think this is really important for people who particularly are concerned around electoral power in this time where it feels like our society is crumbling.
Yes.
Over the last, really there's like a 10, 11-year story, but really over the last like 6 to 7 years, through this infrastructure of independent political organizations that when you used to think of them, they were like these very stuffy, partisan, basically just like fundraising arm and like, mobilizing around election time is how I understood that thing growing up. But using that structure more for like actual grassroots community organizing, actual advocacy, and actually showing up for community throughout the calendar then allows you to build the apparatus to then contest for power at every level of government.
Yeah.
You got an A.
And then within that, right, then, because like even the way you're saying we about this state house primary, right?
We,
like
for
that's
sure.
not
Right.
traditional.
Yeah.
Everybody in city council is not taking on this responsibility of like, oh, even as I'm holding down like people calling me about potholes and about garbage cans,
I'm also building
building
political
power and getting someone else in to be a part of this team that we're saying. And so that is something that I think people need to pay attention to and is really powerful. And then within that, you reference, what some of the forces have been fighting up against. And I'm just really excited to see your energy right now, that you still have this like bubbly, effervescent like joy and smiling, like laughing as you're telling the story, because I've been really proud, but also somewhat like heartstruck by the way you have shown up directly to, fascism and imperialism and how that touches us domestically, how that touches us at home, how we have to show up on a municipal level. So one, I just want to like commend you. It's been seen, it's been appreciated.
It's been impactful.
It's been deeply impactful, but it also felt nonstop. It felt like there was a really long tale of resistance to genocide in Gaza and in Palestine at large. And then as that work was happening, we also then have this domestic fascist terror regime through ICE, through DHS, and you have been at the front line while also fighting in the hall of power, whatever step and check. So before getting into a question about it, one, just like sincerely thank you for taking on that responsibility. Yeah, how are you sitting with it right now?
Thank you so much for saying that. And I'm going to say that part of the bubbly energy right now, you to bring that out of me as well.
Turn up the
because
AirGo
I
bump.
love you deeply and because I respect you deeply as well. So being with you.
But you've out-bubbled us today. Usually we're bringing the bubbles, but you win it on the bubbles.
Matter of fact, let's sit up. Let's get, boom, what we're doing. Let's change
There
this
we go.
posture.
All right. Bubbles have emerged.
It's been so hard.
Yeah.
It's been so hard. I think one of the things that I've been struggling the most with right now is just that constant proximity to pain. And you just have to witness it over and over and over. Yeah. And when you have this consciousness that capitalism is a cancer, you know, and that you are doing everything that you can to move in the opposite direction, but you're not there. And you still have to, and you understand why this is happening, but you can't stop it from happening necessarily. All you can do, I knew I was going to cry. All you can do is just be.
Tears are just little bubbles.
Just see those little bubbles. It's been really, really tough, I'm sure you talked to Senator Graciela Guzman before. I have been working with Graciela day in and day out doing things that I never thought that I was gonna have to do. Right? There was a day where we were at a congressional hearing that was taking place at Cook County, and people were giving their testimonies of their experiences with ICE in front of the Illinois delegation at the Cook County board. And Graciela and I were sitting there to support Delia, because we try to support each other whenever we can. And all of a sudden, our signal chests just start popping off. And Graciela and I leave immediately. And when we get to Albany Park, there is an active raid. They are taking people from the front of a house. Like, they didn't even ask for names. It was just some brown people that were moving cinder blocks. And they just took them. And we start making calls to the families. We realized that one of the people he wasn't taken. He jumped a fence, and somebody opened a door for him to go into a basement. And he was hiding there. So Graciela and I went through the alley, and we picked him up, and we took him to my office, and he was in my office for however long. We just locked him in there. And then we took him to his car. I never thought that would be my job. I never thought that kind of resistance, that having to literally like grab somebody from the street to keep them safe is something that we were going to have to do. But that is what we're doing currently, and just doing that repeatedly over and over and over, over days, over weeks. A couple of weeks ago, they took a father from my ward, and wife with 3 kids, all under 4. She was devastated. And we just brought community together to wrap their arms around her, and we fundraised, and we got her help, and that is the work that I'm doing, but it's also the work that my independent political organization is doing. Like, we are showing up, doing all of this work. We are the Northwest Side Rapid Response. We are the ones that show up when ICE is around. We're the ones that identify. We're the ones that connect people with legal aid. We are the ones that do fundraisers so that people can pay their rent. We're doing all of that work day in and day out while running our offices and trying to do policy. And like, it is
trying
so
to
much.
get budgets passed.
So we are tired. I am very, very tired. I guess at some point in life, you just make a decision that this is what you are going to do. And you just do this for life. So you can't give up. You can take a break maybe, but this is the path. And if I ever want a society that treats everybody fairly, and where people can have what they need, and where our humanity is respected no matter who you are, then I have to keep doing what I'm doing, and I have to convince more people to do it so we can get there a little faster.
So you said that moment, there's this moment where you decide this is what I'm going to have my life be for. Is there a moment that you think of as that, like, you've been someone who's been so committed for so long, but this is a different level of responsibility to the people around you. Is there a moment where you're like, all right, I could either go down this path or not, and I'm going down this path?
No, it's always been this path. It's always been in everything that I have ever done. Like, I was a theater artist, and my theater was completely dedicated to telling the stories of people resisting. To me, it is like, I am here to figure out how we win. I am here to figure out how we can all be okay. And that is what I have been doing. And I think, when I was younger, I didn't necessarily think about this in a rational way, right? I think that it was more instinctual and more like, this is where I feel like I need to go. Now it is conviction that is very, like, I'm very disciplined about it.
In being that anchor in these very tangible ways of, like, bringing someone into your space to protect them in that way, and where it's not we are doing work about people, but it's we're doing, like, the very active work for these particular people around it. Like, there's a directness and a tangibility that's different. You are the most committed person. You are as committed as any person I know. And I could imagine even within that, the level of impact of being that person in the street in that way, that not just is active, because so many people have been active in ICE Watch work and showing up, rapid response, but also then kind of one of the people that people look to for guidance in those moments where you're also in uncharted territory. Has that shaken any of that foundation in those moments where someone's looking to you or you're doing something that you've never done before and you go, I don't know how to do this?
That's a really good question. It hasn't, but it has been scary. Very, very scary. I want to tell this little story because I think that when I heard this, it kind of shook me for a second and I had to think about who am I? Like, what am I doing, right? When I voted against my colleague Deborah Silverstein's resolution of unconditional support for Israel after October 7. I was actually out of town. I was in Milwaukee learning about the restorative justice program. And all of a sudden there was this meeting that was scheduled. It was a special meeting and she wanted to have her resolution heard and she wanted to pass it. And I had to jump in. And when the vote went on, they didn't want to do a roll call vote. So I just yelled over the phone and a super loud no. And of course it was everywhere and nobody has ever challenged Zionism like that. And at that point I started getting death threats and it got really ugly, really, really, really ugly. And I remember one of the leaders of my independent political organization texted me and said, hey, I really have a lot of respect for you and I know that you will always do the right thing. Can you give us a heads up next time you want to take this on the Zionists, just so that we can have your back? Because it's like, what?
It's like Jon Snow running out in the Battle of the Bastards by himself all the way. It's like, man, we got to catch up to you. Like, yo, wait for your flank.
It was kind of like that, right? Like sometimes for me, I also have ADHD, which makes my brain, I don't know, an interesting place. A lot of times I know what is right and I just can't stop myself from taking action if I know what needs to be done. And that sometimes is difficult because it prevents you from being fully strategic. I have been training my brain a little bit more now that I understand how an ADHD brain works. I am a lot more strategic.
Let's talk after this.
I'm a lot more strategic.
What do you mean by that? Yeah, like what have you been training it toward?
There's a lot of things that I have to do in order to not just go and, because we can be really impulsive because you see things and you see patterns and you just want to. So now I try to sit for a little bit longer with things. It's not easy, but it has a lot to do with being in my body. It actually has a lot to do with somatics, and it has to do with making sure that I am not allowing the feeling that you get drive everything. The feeling has to be a part of what you're doing. It has to. But I have learned to bring other people in to help me navigate, right? And ask for what people think before I just go. And in that particular case, I just didn't have a choice. Like that's what needed to happen. I thought that other people in the council were going to act in the same way. Some people made a decision that what they were going to do was protest the vote and they left. But if everybody left that was supposed to oppose it, then it was just going to pass and nobody was going to say anything, right? So I just felt like I just needed to yell, and that's what I did.
Yeah, but I can imagine that ADHD plus an unquavering knowledge of what right and wrong is a very tough combination. Because then you're seeing all of the things going
in Chicago City Council. Specifically.
It's like I got
it's painful.
360
really
injustice view here,
It's very painful. There is a lot of footage of me making faces. It's because I also can't control my face. And I have, as a public figure, that is something that they tell you like very early. I have not been ever. I can't. This is me. Do
a little nose up at time.
All of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are watching the stream and they take screenshots and send them to me. Like, fix your face.
That's very funny. It actually leads me to something that we talked about a little bit last time that I'm curious. So This is the third time you've been on the show. We had you on right at the beginning of the pandemic, and then maybe 2 years later. And I can't remember which it was. We did a lot of conversation about like the vibes are just bad in city council, like just bad vibes.
So bad.
And so I'm wondering, how are the vibes? Have they improved?
No.
No?
They're worse.
Oh man.
They're absolutely worse now.
Why are they worse now?
I think that having a progressive mayor has been a very, very difficult journey. First, because when we came in, I don't think that we knew exactly what we were going to be facing.
Right.
So we had to make a lot of mistakes in order to be able to understand how to do the work. There was a lot of people already in that were not with the program, and you have to navigate how do you either convince those people that are in there to the program, or how do you defend yourself from the actions that people are going to take or not take in order to make you successful or not, right? So there was that part. Now there's a lot of big interests that don't want Brandon in this seat, right? So talk about Zionist pacts, Michael Sachs, you know, all of these other dark money that is jumping into elections. Exactly, it's capital, right? It is the 1%. They are coming after Brandon, and they have identified people that they can convince to assist in this mission of taking him down, right? Because at this point, they are convinced that this cannot continue. Brandon cannot continue being mayor because, I mean, we have gotten a lot of wins.
What do you think registers to them as the most dangerous?
Of the wins?
So you said like, from their position, they're saying like, this can't continue.
Right now, as you probably know, we're discussing one fair wage. We had already passed one fair wage for tip workers. It is the absolutely right thing to do.
Explain it for folks who aren't.
So one fair wage is an ordinance that ends sub-minimum wage, which, as people know, people who work in the service industry only make tips. This is a remnant of slavery. It is incredibly unfair. It poses so many risks, particularly for Black and brown women in the industry, because if the pay that you are taking home depends on the generosity of somebody, then you are going to try to be as nice to that customer as possible. And that a lot of times means that you're going to put up with sexual harassment, you're going to put up with abuse in order to be able to get a paycheck home.
Both with the customer, but then also within a workplace because of the risk of tips being garnished or things being unfair.
Exactly.
It also just makes a precarity with coworkers and bosses and stuff too.
So we had passed this ordinance, and we were very happy that we were phasing it in slowly. It didn't just go into, minimum wage immediately, but it is moving towards it in phases. So one of my colleagues decided to stop it, and they introduced an amendment to the ordinance to stop it so that it doesn't continue to progress, right?
I would argue that's not amending.
That is true.
Upending.
That is true, but they
like to pass an amendment.
They made a substitute.
Totally,
yeah. Most of my colleagues voted with the amendment. There was 18 of us that decided to stick with one fair wage. Capital doesn't like that. Right. Turns out that rich people don't like that.
Well, and especially like we've seen the power of the restaurant lobby in Chicago. I mean, that was such a big political player during pandemic. Also, I remember like Lori being in these press conferences I'm like, who is this dude? And it's the like head of the Chicago Restaurant Association, all of a sudden becoming a major political player.
Yes. And it's happening, in a lot of different ways. So now we are seeing an increase, and you're going to be reading stories in the paper of people that leave the administration. All of a sudden, they start talking about these horrible things. I am not necessarily saying that there are no problems. I think that we all know conflict very well, and we know how conflict shows up in a lot of our spaces, in movement, in building, right? So it's not perfect when you go into such an important space like a mayoral seat.
Right.
But we cannot underestimate the power of money and the interests that don't want somebody progressive in that space, right?
I don't want to get too deep in the inside baseball of Chicago politics. But I do want people to understand, like, what are the forces of power at play? Because it's clear you call them your colleagues. there are
Shots fired.
there are deep-rooted contingents in city council that I'll say clearly like operate distinctly in opposition to the interest of their wards, of their constituents. Yeah. I think this last budget was really a significant fight around fighting around TIF, fighting around the fight around sales of
the corporate head tax. The
corporate head tax
was the main thing that people were trying to run away from because that directly impacts companies.
Right.
And this was very specifically tailored to big companies, right? Not like any small business, but like the bigger companies. And Michael Sachs was all over it. He was calling alders, and he was.
Who's this? Who is?
Michael Sachs is a billionaire. He's also behind the Zionist PAC, the Common Ground Collective, and of course, his interest is that we don't continue to make gains in that way. He does not want to be taxed. He has opposed every tax. We have tried. We tried with Bring Chicago Home. We tried with the fair tax as well. And we have been trying to do is try to get progressive revenue so that we can pay for the things that our communities need.
Right.
Which
the rich are really opposed to
this. Staunchly.
They would rather shell like millions of dollars in campaigns to prevent us from taxing them than actually paying their damn taxes. It's crazy.
That was what in the Zoran campaign that Ackman paid more in opposition and in advertising than he would have been taxed in that year had this proposed tax rate gone through. So, there's also like some of that I think is long-term plan, but some of that is also just like the gamesmanship of not wanting to lose also.
And a lot of my colleagues, like it is super easy to go to Illinois Sunshine and look at who donates to your campaign. Michael Sachs donates to almost everybody in city council. So he has their phone number and he has the power to tap. And I'm naming Michael Sachs because it is like the most immediate, but there's a lot of people that are trying to play this game, you know. Right now is a moment when a lot of that is coming to the surface that people might not have been paying much attention before, but now it's just so in your face with Trump in government and all of the interests that we're seeing that are like taking over and getting contracts with the government after they said, oh, we're going to eliminate waste. Now they're like
no
hiring
big contracts to their people.
Whoever is like brother, sister, sister-in-law, you know?
Right.
So we are in a very difficult moment, but I think that it is there's a lot of clarity right now in terms of who's behind, these efforts and opposing things like one fair wage, opposing things like a corporate head tax, right? Like they literally, the council, I've never seen the council disorganized. Yeah. And it is so incredible to me that none of these people decided to organize against neoliberal agendas of Daley and Ram. Ever.
Like, oh shit, you can do
they
things.
Would know, so you could actually you
don't just
like get it
bow
together
to
and
mayoral
oppose
power.
that, but you did not want to do that. You're doing it now with a progressive mayor that is actually trying to improve the conditions of life of people and is trying to tax the rich.
Yeah.
As soon as you say you want to tax the rich, oh no, the council is gonna espérate. The council is
and some of that is because they got rich people behind them, and some of that is like, well, I got in this to get rich.
Exactly.
Why would I pass the thing that's gonna keep me from getting
I'm not rich now, I'm trying to get there.
This is what I think my next job is gonna be.
That is the whole point. And to bring it back to the independent political organizations and how important the model is, we don't go to city council on our own to represent ourselves and to like make decisions on our own. That's not what we do. But the vast majority of politicians, that's what they do. They will win the election and it's all them. They make the decisions, which means that one of the parts that we are very adamant about with our campaigns is that we don't take contributions from any of those people. We don't take contributions from utilities. We don't take contributions from developers. We don't take contributions from billionaires or super PACs or any of that. Nobody that has an interest in government in that way or that could benefit from a contract in government, we don't take any of that money. But if you go to Illinois Sunshine, you can see who takes that money. And they are going to be beholden to those interests. So, of course, when the mayor of Chicago says, let's pass a corporate head tax so that we can pay for jobs for young people and keep our communities safe. No, we can't do that. Yeah. We can't do that. Imagine what would happen. So that's where we're at.
So, you know, it makes sense. You mentioned Sachs, and I feel like often when we talk about the opposition, whether it's him or, you know, it's been Ken Griffin for a while, like there are these kind of like figures who represent the billionaires, partially because it's easier to have one person to understand it as in messaging, but also because like sometimes it feels like there are like 2 or 3 people with a shit ton of money messing things up, right? I understand the interests of very rich people wanting to make sure that those are protected. I'm wondering if you've seen a shift in this like ascendant right on a national scale in just like ideological alignment with the right in Chicago politics. Like there's always going to be the like glad handing and corruption of like, I don't want to pay taxes, so don't make me pay taxes. Right. But are you seeing like a shift in how, whether it's with your colleagues or in the electorate or on different scales, like
because there are major Trump donors that are also playing in Illinois politics.
Right. Do you feel that encroachment, not just in terms of the money, but also like in how when you talk to people, they're thinking about things?
I think for a while it was very difficult because when the migrant mission started and people started coming here from all over, like from Venezuela, from Colombia, from Haiti, from lots of different places, there was a movement of people that started coming to city council. They're still coming. Yeah. And it's mostly Black people talking about immigrants. And it was devastating. Devastating because like in my case, like I completely understand that it's investment in Black communities and I fight for that every day. Like to me is like one of my biggest like issues, right? Like I need everybody to be okay. I'm a socialist. And all of a sudden seeing these like really, really vile like
that was bad
discourse against people that were so dispossessed was very, very difficult. And it was also very difficult to advocate because you know that the circumstances in which Black people are existing in the city are also absolutely terrible.
So you can't be like, calm down.
Yeah, there are some like valid claims to get to some inhumane conclusions.
Exactly. So you have to really figure out how you are going to intervene there. But you also know that the people who are doing this are not ignorant. They are doing it because they were put there to do it. And the right is investing
in this
disruption. Right? So unless there is a level of consciousness in city council
that this is not
the way. Like the Black Panthers showed us the way. We know that solidarity is the only way. And if we advocate for everybody, we have the opportunity to all be okay if we build together. But that is not what was happening in city council, right? Like the easiest way to go about this is not to build like we're building. It is whatever is going to get the heat off my back is what I'm going to do. So when I think about the differences in terms of individuality, right? Like you go in there and you're just you making decisions and then organizing, it gives you a completely different perspective of what's possible. A lot of my colleagues are not necessarily building these structures, right? So who is power for? If you are an elected representative, the idea of representation is that you're going to use your power to benefit the collective. Right. But that is not necessarily what happens because it is not wired that way. So you have to make it so. And I don't see a lot of people making it so, right?
I want to just go back to one detail because this is something I've been curious about without having done a lot of the research. How documented or how closely can we draw like that contingent, which maybe there's some overlap with the Flip Chicago Red Vote, or just what was showing up there to actually being tangibly supported by the right? Like, has there been investigation of like, is it formal astroturfing where money was being put up? How much do we actually know?
I don't think that I have gone down that rabbit hole because I am so busy that if I have to take on another research project,
It's kind of our job. But
I
also,
think-
you were like,
What are you guys doing?
You were like in school also the last time we talked, like doing
I was
papers
just about to talk
about
about that.
the documents that you were pushing forward in city council.
And now I'm trying to do research on other stuff so that I can justify some other stuff that I want to do. What I know, I guess, is that because they are always either in city council or in Cook County, they cannot have any other job. Like there is no way that you can have a job if you are always in city council, and I mean always. They go to every single committee.
More than aldermen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're
Right. They go to every single committee meeting. They go to every council meeting, and they go to the board meetings of the Cook County, and they go to committees in the Cook County. So that is a full-time job. So I don't know how anybody can be doing anything else with their lives if they are always doing this. And not only they do that, then they go on YouTube and they record videos and they choose like some of us and start like talking about like how we're stealing money of I don't know what. I haven't looked on who is funding them, but it is so obvious to me that
This doesn't feel like a grassroots political.
I feel like
no, it's not. It's not. You're not building.
right.
Like
I always give credit to the tribe. I don't want to be like giving them credit for something they don't do, but I feel like I remember there was a lot of research around the Johnson around Brandon's election of that Vallis money, and I think
That was very specific.
I think a lot of
That's
that
true.
same
Yeah.
infrastructure,
I
and a lot of
remember
those
that, yes.
same folks. There's a continuum. there.
So we got some.
Yeah.
And then
We got
there's a
some
bunch
work
of
to do.
PACs that were created after that. So you have the Urban Center, who was very involved in Jamie Andrade's and Miguel Alvelo's race. And then you have the Common Ground Collective, and you have what is the other PAC? They have they have also really fun names that sound like very harmless. You know,
I mean, Common Ground Collective is pretty.
that's
That's
a
pretty.
small
That sounds like a daycare.
Common Ground Collective.
So I had a heartfelt moment a few months ago that very brief, but I want to share with you and then kind of like check in on how things are going. So I was driving down the Dan Ryan, and then I looked to my right and saw an ambulance, and then saw that it wasn't an ambulance. It was a care van.
I'm so glad.
And, you know, I was aware it passed. I was aware that things, but like had not seen or touched or felt anything. It was like, oh, this, in many ways, unfortunately, like, oh, this is a political win. And like the actual material of it wasn't like, you know, super on top of it. And I saw it actually driving, and I saw just like two regular Black folks driving it, you know? And so this is the outgrowth of the work of Treatment Not Trauma, which when we had you on last, that was a lot of what we were talking about. And Daniel referenced it, like you, in many ways, not many ways, you did spearhead that legislative fight and the organizing around it that made it possible. And it was connected to the fact that like, while you're taking on this first term and taking calls about garbage and then try to get budgets passed or block budgets probably at that time. You're also doing graduate studies, learning about different approaches to community safety.
Who is that person? It sounds like exhausted.
ADHD for good, baby.
And that led to the Treatment Not Trauma initiative that now has been instituted and is in the real world as these care teams. I know there's a gap between fighting for something, implementation, and then sustaining it.
Yeah.
And so one, just like we haven't really checked in since it was more ink on paper, but now that there's like wheels on the ground, what does it look like? How's it going? What support or fight does it need? And how do you feel about that whole journey?
So the work of care has been really difficult because governments are no longer wired for direct service, right? We live in a capitalist neoliberal economy.
Yeah. It's a contracting agency, basically.
Right. So government now is more wired to be a bank that gives money to organizations, and then they go do the work. But the idea of that is that you are going to give organizations a certain amount of money for very specific purposes, and they're going to sustain themselves with grants that come from a lot of different places. And now Trump is in office.
Yeah.
Right.
And now a bunch of those grants are disappearing because because we cannot take care of Black and brown people. It's illegal. You cannot do that.
It's a good way to put it.
It's
Yeah.
discriminatory. So
Wow.
now we're losing money. I am very grateful that the mayor of Chicago decided that it was important that we put all of this work under the corporate budget. So CARE is now an official program of the city of Chicago, and it doesn't rely on grants. This is new.
Wow.
It was under ARPA, so this was all COVID money that was used, COVID relief money. And now it's under corporate. But that said, because
By corporate, you mean the corporate budget.
the corporate budget of the
Right.
city of Chicago, which is general fund, how we pay for pothole, like to cover potholes.
Corporate meaning the body of.
Exactly, the corporation of the city of Chicago.
We're just trying to avoid. I think we're both like, oh no, that's. Could imagine someone completely misinterpreting.
Yes. No, the corporate fund of the city of Chicago is our general fund. It is where all the money lives that we use for all of the public services. So CARE and the clinics are all under that corporate budget, under the Department of Public Health. But the resistance to it has been difficult to navigate because we are used to sending police everywhere. So we are still doing a lot of work to make sure that the teams can go out, that liability doesn't become a thing that freezes everything. And it has taken a lot of work, a lot of work.
So yeah, what does that
we're
look like?
expanding. I think now we're gonna have 8 vans, and we now have citywide teams. We use CARE a lot in my community, particularly for the unhoused population. They come in my office. One of the things that I did, because we don't really have much to do, so I'm always like, taking projects on.
Get free time.
Director of special projects.
Let me do this special project. So in my office, we had a room that was sort of like a break room for the team, but people were not really using it. So we made it into a mini living room in our office. And we do outreach to the homeless encampments, and we ask people to come to our office if they need to use the bathroom, charge their phone, take a nap, put food or medicine on the fridge, and then get services. And then we call the CARE team. So the CARE team comes and checks on them. They bring them bus passes and connect them to any services, right? So that's kind of the model that we have been using, and it has worked really well. Several of the people that were living in one of the parks in my community now, come and they look like super sharp. One of them already got a job. They come and they feel at home. And that's really beautiful. One of them is now our outreach worker. So he goes to the train and gets people that are on the train to come to our office. That's great. It is really great. Sometimes we celebrate their birthdays in the office.
Wow. That's awesome.
So we have been trying to create a space that is compatible with the CARE model. Also to sort of like help imagine what is possible, right? Because one of the things that I want to do, I want to make all of the mental health centers, the public mental health centers of the city of Chicago, I want living rooms in those spaces, because sometimes people are not going to come in just to have therapy, but they might just need to sit for a minute without worrying about somebody harassing them or like taking their things. Sometimes people just need a nap. And I have a sofa bed there. Just like lay down, take a nap. I'll close the door, have privacy, sleep for 2 hours,
People do need naps.
Yeah.
People,
I think this is a strong policy point actually to run
the
on.
level of dysregulation that you can have because your nervous system is completely in chaos and hypervigilant because you haven't slept in days. It has an impact in the rest of society. And we're here acting like, okay, whatever, they can't sleep. Not a big deal. These are really important basic functions of the body. So what we are trying to do is create space for people to be able to be human. And it is actually paying off. It is incredible what happens when people are able to rest, when people are able to just have a reliable place where they feel safe.
But yeah, just to kind of put a button on it, right? There was this, multi-year effort, thousands of people, were in support of bringing this, what was initially this language of treatment, not trauma, this idea of in times of mental health need or mental health crisis, having an infrastructure to be able to call someone else who have expertise in supporting people in those times and not call police.
Exactly.
And so I just heard you say there's challenges and people are used to calling them. So are those challenges with like the public understanding that this exists and the value and the need
That is
for
work
it,
that
or is it
still
institutional
is being
blockage?
done. People need to know that this is an option.
Mhm.
And one of the main hurdles have been going through 911, because once you go through 911, you have a small window, like you have to get there in a small window of time in order to be able to be routed through 911.
Mhm.
And because the teams are still small, like we
So
can't
you said 8
guarantee
cars
that
citywide,
they're going to
right?
be there in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
right? So we are also trying to route them through 311. That's 72 hours, which gives you more time for the teams to be able to get there. They might not be able to go see you in the morning, but they might be able to go see you in the afternoon, or they might be able to go see you tomorrow morning, right? Because we don't have enough capacity yet.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is finding what are the right channels, and it is so complicated. You know, the emergency management system is a monster, and there's also so many layers that you have to navigate. There's like union contracts for every one of those first responders, and there are protocols, and there are things that are decided by the state that then you have to go and you have to talk to the state. Like, can I get permission to respond to this kind of call? So it's a lot to navigate. A lot of the work that we are trying to get CARE to do right now is preventative work, like go do outreach in the encampments, like find the people who are the most likely to go into crisis, and let's try to prevent crisis as much as we can.
A proactive
right?
model. Yeah.
But when people call 911, they have an option to ask for a CARE team, and if a CARE team is available and ready, they will be sent.
So I want to, as we close out, you know, this is like one of the most tangible examples of what you began this fight for, right? Like, this exists. It's not at the capacity we need. It has the challenges you're describing, but it exists.
Yes.
And on the like political power side, we're talking about this thing that now exists and has had this impact.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the bounciness of the brain. How much of this like infrastructure do you think you envisioned when, you know, in 2019 when you stepped in? Like, how much of this has been emergent, and how much of this is like
The plan.
we had a plan and now we're executing the plan?
The path to where we need to go is what we said that we needed. I want a lot more, and I always want a lot more, because the people of this city deserve the world. People deserve everything.
Yeah.
And I am so committed to getting there and to having a space like what I'm building in my office. You know, like if I can't have it in the city, like I'm going to do something where I can see it in practice, where I can see how it actually works, and I can feel it, and then I can like sell it, right? I can tell you, this is what we have been able to do with this little space here.
So making it tangible at whatever stage you can make it tangible, at whatever scale.
But we keep fighting
Right.
inside of the city to convince people that this is the right thing to do, that this is what government should be doing. And that is just going to be a fight always. And we're just going to continue fighting it. But I would say that I am incredibly proud of what we built as a movement, because this was not me, right? Like, this was people who have been fighting for over 10 years to reopen mental health clinics that abandoned them. People that were left out in the cold when they needed like support the most. And they got organized, and we envisioned a different way of doing things, and we went and got it. And now we are in the mess of making it what we need it to be. But we did it. Like, we got in here and we said we don't want police to respond to these things, and we did that. And at this point, I am painfully aware that everything that is worth it takes a lot of work. But we can't give up. We have to keep pushing it, right?
I have one last.
And then I have a game.
Okay, cool. So I don't want to put you in pressure. I don't want you to get to commit to anything. But I think this whole conversation is like demonstrating your power of like, you have an ability to envision, to recognize what is needed, to like not leave it in the ideal place, but go like research it specifically, and to push to fight things through to victory. And like, that's an amazing power that like is desperately needed, and like we should kind of like pay attention to. So what you envision is important to me. So I'm curious, for the next, 5 years or so, it could still be in the like the draft stage of it. what are some things that you are envisioning or wanting to fight for or saying that our city needs in that like midterm that you see us maybe fighting for in the
I
future?
have two things that are incredibly important to me right now. One of them is the Healthy Homes Ordinance. I already introduced it as a working group. So we are already kind of starting to talk about it. And the idea is to have a rental unit registry in the city of Chicago that can help us do proactive inspections so that when people move into a unit, they know that there's no lead paint, there's no mold, there's no pests, that children are going to be safe. And that's something that we're not doing. Usually inspections happen
after complaint.
Yes, the inspection happens after the complaint, and the complaint usually happens once you know that your baby is poisoned with lead, right? And we don't want that to happen ever. Right. This usually happens to people who are the poorest, people who are the most vulnerable. Care. So we need proactive care. So I introduced it and I passed it, and now we have a working group. So we're going to now sit at the table and we're going to try to negotiate with the city and with advocates to see what is possible and how many phases we're going to have to do. The mayor committed to it, which makes me very happy. Yeah. So we're going to be working on this, and hopefully we're going to get another 4 years to develop it. I think that now we know way better how to do government. The other thing that I am very excited about, I was in New York this last weekend.
New York's exciting, I understand.
Visiting the Overdose Prevention Center. And I want that. I want us to have that in Chicago.
What is it?
We could have saved so many lives. So the Overdose Prevention Center is a safe use. Among other things, they have a lot of wraparound services, but there is a safe use site. Okay. Yeah. And I am a different person after going inside of that room. I think that the way in which they were able to understand the humanity of somebody that uses substances, I was flooded. And I want to be able to provide that for the people of Chicago who use. I think people deserve that kind of dignity. I think that people deserve support. I think that we could save a lot of lives. Yeah. When the Overdose Prevention Center in New York was a concept, they did a feasibility study and they understood that they could save, in the small scale that they were doing it, they could save about 250 lives in the first year of people that were using. They saved over 600. Oh, wow. And while I was in the room, there was a person that was using, and his heart rate got really low. And a doctor immediately came in and talked to him and convinced him to use a little bit of naloxone, and his life was saved. Wow. If this man was in the park, he would probably not be alive because his heart rate got just dangerously low. Witnessing that is, it was really important for me to be able to see that and to think about the fact that the way that this society treats people who use, the way that this society treats people who are unhoused, the way that this society treats people who struggle with mental health issues, it is so inhumane. And it is so removed from what I want for this society. So I really want to build that model here. And I know that there are people that have been trying to do that, and they haven't really gotten enough buy-in from enough electeds to be able to have a strong coalition and get it done. So I'm gonna give it a try.
We know what the next mixtapes are coming soon.
We believe in you, and we want to be there to support.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And again, just this through line of this proactive care, particularly for the most dispossessed, the most excluded, the most marginalized, and so all of those different demographics that you mentioned, and then if you add in the undocumented, and then if you add in the genocide, and then if you add in Black people, right? Like this forming coalition that you are caring for more than leading is so beautiful and so amazing. And I think, again, a micro that I hope spreads through the losers in city council, and they have morality transformation come to whatever.
I hope more people, more people
but around
who
the world,
care are going to get elected. I hope that
people in other cities also see this and see your example and what is possible. Because I think there is an understandable skepticism as fascism is ascendant, and just it seems like intelligence and like norms of communication are just all seem to be crumbling. That even while all of this is happening, right, there are people at all levels of power who are stepping up and who are making new possibilities. And you embody that with such heart that,
And I get to do that because I also have a coalition of people around me. Like I have my congresswoman, I have my state senator. Now I'm going to have a state rep around me that is doing that. And then I have all of the people from movement.
Shout out to everybody on the doors and on the phones.
Shout out.
That's the value of building that power.
Yes.
You got a game.
And so that's all incredibly admirable and beautiful and so dedicated to so many other people around you. And I want to give you, in classic AirGo form, it's a game / also a thought experiment. So we can't give you a game that's not a thought experiment.
Okay.
But okay, so I have my shadowy money pack.
Shadowy money. I like that.
But it's not dark money. It's just
not
like
dark, just shady.
I got some money. I got some shady money. Yeah.
It's just shady,
just
not
rose
dark,
shade.
dark.
Yeah. It's like smoky eye money. Like it's not. It's nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
And you get with this money to fight for your own special interest.
Okay.
But it has to be something that only benefits you.
Okay.
That only benefits
you
me.
as an individual. What are the and it can be as small as like I want new window treatments. What I'm trying to say is like be selfish in this thought experiment in the way that you never get to in real life. What are you getting to? What are you saying? Like this is.
Espérate, what you're saying. Dame un momento. You are because I don't take this kind of money.
Right.
But we are in a different dimension right now. Okay. This is not going to be edited and then people are going to be like,
Let me make it clear.
She said that in the right conditions, she would.
Okay, those conditions are a different dimension.
It's not here. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If I could get something for myself.
Earth 2 Rossana gets the.
If I could get something just for myself, it would probably be the freedom to be able to travel, to see my family whenever I wanted, and to see my friends in different cities. I have a beautiful community in Chicago, but I do miss my nation a lot. There's a lot happening there as well. My parents are getting old, and I just wanna be home more. So that's my selfish desire. Is
Teleportation
I
super
go
pack.
Absolutely. The teleportation
Perfect.
super pack. I like that. Yeah.
That's excellent. All right. Good to know.
Oh, that was so sorry. I didn't catch that. The teleportation.
Well, we didn't even do it.
And unlimited
That's off
massages.
mic.
There we go. This is good.
I need
body work,
body work
and flight work.
And, yes.
All right. Good
That's
to
it.
know. All right. Just checking in. All right. With that clearly documented, thank you so much. Like Dame said, one, for always being down to chop it up with us, but like being the steadfast presence that just personally, it's not that I necessarily look to you always for answers, but I look to you for this consistency that you're talking about. And so that has been really important as a person and as like a contingent in a city. So thank you for that consistency. How can folks find you and your work in the ways you want to be found?
You can find us on social media, Rossana 433, in all of the platforms. And you can go to People for Rossana if you want to donate.
Beautiful. We're at AirGo Radio and at Respair Media.
I'm at Damon_AF.
AirGo Kiss. And we'll be back reshaping culture for the more liberatory and creative.
Much love to the people.
Peace.